the debut of Half Horse Tarot. I am here with your free August 2018 general tarot reading. I am going to leave some information for you guys in the description box below that goes into a little bit more about how I do my readings and also some things to just generally keep in mind when you are listening to your messages, both on my channel and on other readers' channels as well. I'm going to go ahead and jump into your reading. We'll get started for you guys and see what messages Spirit has for you all this month. So for your central issue for the month, you guys have the Nine of Crystals in reverse. This deck is a bit different from the traditional tarot, and I'll make sure to explain that as we go along. But this is this deck's version of the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse. So I'll show you the card in the upright. This is a little bit different from the usual cards that I see. Usually this woman in the Nine of Pentacles, you know, she's amassed this fortune, this wealth, all of these material possessions, and she's pretty happy about it. She's a self-made, independent woman. She doesn't need a man to be successful. She's just out on her own doing her thing and kind of killing the game. But with this being in the reverse for you guys, I think that this month, maybe some of you guys are going to be dealing with some financial issues. Maybe you are, or at least have been for a while, been off on your own. And maybe you are struggling a little bit financially without there being a second income. Others of you, it might even be the opposite, that you have been on your own for some period of time, and now you're beginning to kind of crave an intimate, emotional, romantic connection, especially with another person. And maybe that's kind of on your mind this month. This desire to not be alone. My only word of caution, if that applies to you, is you know, it's fine to want to be in a relationship. It's fine to want to have somebody in your life, but make sure that you're not going to settle or become dependent on somebody else just for the sake of being able to say that you're no longer single or you're no longer alone anymore. Don't sacrifice your own security and the ability to stand on your own 2 feet for a connection with anybody in any aspect of your life, whether it be platonic, romantic, or, you know, a business partnership, whatever that may be. Always make sure that regardless of what happens, you can support yourself emotionally, financially, whatever, in any sense of the word, that you don't let yourself become dependent on anybody. So that is just something to keep in mind for those of you guys for whom that may apply. Looking at the energy you guys had in the distant past, we have the Sage of Orbs in reverse, which is this deck's version of the Queen of Swords in reverse. So this is gonna probably be your energy, since you guys are a Gemini and an air sign, and it could be male or female, doesn't matter. I'll show you the card in the upright so it's a little easier for you guys to see. But you know, you have this woman here, and she looks strong, fierce, mighty. She has this sword, and she doesn't really look like somebody that people want to mess with. In the reverse, I think maybe some of you guys might have been feeling out of sorts. You might have been feeling uncertain or mentally clouded, unable to make decisions, just really kind of out of whack, maybe for the last couple of weeks or months. And you know, we all get into periods of our lives where we have that kind of push-pull energy, I want to say, within ourselves. So I don't really think that it's negative. I think that you guys have just maybe been trying to figure out what exactly it is that you guys want in life, what's going to make you happy, where you want to devote your time, what you want to commit yourself to, and you've just not been sure about you know, how you want to proceed. So in the recent past, we have the Two of Chalices here, which for a lot of you guys is probably going to be a romantic relationship. So this might be something new. If it's not official, then there's probably somebody that you guys have a connection with. You're gonna know who this person is. This is past energy, so I don't think this is somebody new coming in this month, though it could potentially be the case, but it would be toward the very beginning of the month. if that's so. And I think that this relationship or this connection is really positive. I think there is potential there for a lot of growth, success, happiness, and something really stable. But I do think that it might take a little bit of time to really get off the ground. There might be some delays in developing that relationship, but ultimately I think it's going to sort itself out. This definitely is a positive connection, but like I said, earlier, just try to be careful of the things that I mentioned before, that you're not throwing yourself at somebody just so that you don't have to worry about being alone. Because I think the success of this relationship for a lot of you guys is going to be dependent on the emotional or mental outlook that you bring into the relationship from the jump. And there are some cards that, lead me to believe that's the case, so I'll get into that. All of the cards that are above your central issue are cards that I see as being external energies to you. So these could be things that are being done to you by another person, things that, other people in your life are feeling. They can be things that spirit is bringing into your life, or the universe, or whatever you believe in. Or even just things that are going on in your own head. But, ultimately there's stuff that you don't necessarily have as much control over. So at the very top of your spread, you have the Seven of Flames in reverse, or the Seven of Wands in the reverse. You can see that there's this woman here, and she's there are these 6 wands that are almost trying to burn her feet, and she's kind of dancing her way around the flames and trying to ward them off and basically defend herself. And so I think for a while that some of you guys may have been having that sort of hard exterior where you felt the need to defend yourself, you felt the need to put up walls, especially on an emotional level. You not open up to people because you've been scared that if you were to do so, you might get burned. And as a result, I think some of you guys have been really guarded when it comes to your heart. And I think that you're going to start breaking down those emotional barriers this month. I think that, if you're struggling with that, then that's definitely a necessity for you guys, is really learning how to open yourselves up to other people, even though there is the possibility of being hurt. Because there's no growth when you just kind of stay in one place because, you're scared of failure. And beneath that, we have Luna in reverse, or the moon. In this deck, you can really get the sense of the tide coming in and the impact that the moon has on the water. Likewise, I think that some of you guys may have been, or even still are, in kind of a state of emotional turmoil. You've been keeping things to yourselves. If you are in a romantic relationship, you might not be open or forward with your partner, not in the sense that you're hiding something, but that you're scared to be vulnerable. And like I said earlier, in regard to the Seven of Flames, there definitely is that need to break down some of those barriers and walls and really open yourselves up. So I think that might be on some of your minds this month, really contemplating how you're going to interact with those that are close to you and those who mean a lot to you. And you definitely do need to begin opening up, even if that means that making yourself vulnerable can backfire. It is still important to learn how to let people in and to really open your heart up to giving and receiving love. So beneath your central issue are cards that are in your foundation. This is kind of like stuff that stuff that you've been bringing with you into the month, the things that are more in your control. And we have the Seeker of Chalices, which is the sex version of the Page of Cups. So some of you guys may be romantically linked to or involved with a water sign. That would be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, sun, moon, or rising, male or female. They would likely be somebody who's younger to you. They do seem to be really positive if this is somebody you know and have in your life, and they would be somebody who you know already. They're definitely a familiar energy because they are in your foundation. So they would be somebody, you know, who you at least have an idea of, even if you aren't officially romantically coupled or linked to them in some other way. If this isn't another person, this could be another manifestation of your energy and of this desire to, you know, gain clarity. You know, she's the seeker of chalices, and you can kind of see she's stretching upwards to get that cup that's inside the bubble, like the Ace of Cups, that kind of emotional fulfillment, that happiness, that that just cleansing energy, that rebirth, healing, and she's yearning for that. And I think some of you guys may be desiring to have that in your lives, and you may be doing whatever it is you need to do to pursue something that's going to give you that emotional contentment and that inner peace. So, you know, I definitely think it is a really positive healing energy, you know, whether this is another person or your own energy. I'm glad that you guys are willing to pursue something that's satisfying to you on an emotional level. Just again, be conscientious of being true to yourself, speaking your truth to other people, and being willing to open up, because by being able to open up to others, people are going to be able to open up to you, and you're going to eventually be able to find that that peace in that Ace of Cups energy that you are looking for. I think that you guys do have some emotional growth that needs to occur, especially for those of you who may find it hard to express yourselves emotionally. And so beneath the Seeker of Chalices, we have the Nine of Flames in the reverse, or the Nine of Wands in the reverse. And in the upright, you have that classic image of the battle-weary soldier with the bandage, but you know, he's still ready for a fight, and he's got these 8 wands surrounding him and people who are willing to kind of take a stand for him as well. So I think that some of you guys may have been through the ringer, especially maybe in your past relationships or on an emotional level. I think that some of you guys might be hesitant or even, you know, slightly paranoid of, you know, you've been through this battle, and I think you're afraid of getting even more hurt than you already are, or ultimately losing the fight. And I think that there is a need for you guys, and I think a lot of you guys are actually going to do this, to put the proverbial sword down, to realize that the fight is over, that the things that you've been fighting for, you know, you don't need to be fighting for anymore, that you can finally have that peace, that ability to rest and recuperate and just not be on the defensive all the time. And so that definitely echoes the Seven of Flames in reverse above there. And so I think that is really positive, just kind of giving up the fight and not feeling this need to build up defenses or to constantly protect yourselves. Being vulnerable, that's really the key. Moving forward into the beginning of the month, we have the Ace of Crystals in reverse, which is the deck's version of the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, and here it is in the upright. You know, just this beautiful crystal with the sun shining through, this really beautiful new opportunity. It's, you know, solidified in rock, so it's definitely something practical, pragmatic, very, very stable, enduring and long lasting. And I think that's going to be on offer for you guys this month, but there may be delays with this new beginning. And I think a lot of that hinges, I do think that first and foremost that this new beginning is in love. Even though it isn't the Ace of Cups, I think that it represents a relationship that can be really enduring, really sensual in the physical sense. Something that is sturdy and stable, practically sound. And I actually kind of prefer the Ace of Pentacles when it comes to relationships than the Ace of Cups, which might seem a little counterintuitive, but you know, there's definitely something about having that stable connection to somebody and that really deep rooted, you know, sense of intimacy with somebody that I think is really fulfilling. And so I think you guys have the potential for that in your relationships. I do just think that the ability to get that off the ground is really going to hinge on how willing you are to open yourselves up emotionally and to be vulnerable with your partner. With the Ace of Crystals being in reverse, it's not like it's not going to happen. It's just that, you know, the energy might be blocked for some of you guys, and it's just a matter of being able to unblock that energy and let that flow freely. And I do think that by the end of the month, most of you guys are going to get the point and actually do that, because we have the solar deity here, which is the sun. You know, everything works out. You guys get that clarity that you've been craving. You know, there's not that emotional instability or this back and forth and push and pull anymore. You finally begin to see the light. You might have this positive connection with another person that comes through, but you know, there's ultimately success and happiness and warmth. And I do think that a lot of that is going to come when you do allow yourselves to open up and be vulnerable to other people. So, and you also want to say, just because we have the Two of Crystals in reverse here for the overall energy of your card, or the Two of Pentacles in reverse, I do think that some of you guys also need to make a commitment. You can't be juggling these two aspects of your lives forever. You know, you're eventually going to drop the ball somewhere. So just really figure out how you want to balance things in your life, that what you want to devote your energy toward. And I think for a lot of you guys, it's going to be important to devote time and energy to your romantic relationships, especially if they're newer and you're really just getting to know each other, and then also yourselves, and really beginning to understand yourself on an emotional level, and be willing to break down some of those walls that some of you guys might have built up over time due to past hurt. I do use another deck for these readings, and it's an oracle card deck, and they kind of represent the past and future energies that you guys have been carrying around with you and are going to be carrying with you throughout the month. And in your past, we have the Moose, or durability. And this card kind of shows up just to remind you that, you know, you are this stable, battle-hardy, even battle-wearied person. You know, you've been through a lot and you've survived it. You're still here. You're still standing. You have strength and you have fortitude. But I think that sometimes you might let fear creep in and self-doubt, and that holds you back in some respects. And this card, you know, this is in the past, and it's just a reminder to make sure that you don't allow yourself to do that. Don't let yourself get shut down by, you know, the voices in your head that say that you can't do this, you can't have happiness, or can't have love, or whatever they may be saying. So, you know, you are strong, and just remember that going into this month. Then throughout the month, we have the red panda, who represents compassion. And this card shows up to remind you guys to really embody a sense of empathy. And I think that this is definitely going to be relevant to those of you who are jumping into these new romantic relationships, or going off on a new path in an already established relationship. Just have this ability to be empathetic and put yourself in your partner's shoes or in other people's shoes, and have that level of compassion. And I think being able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes will also allow you to break down your own emotional barriers. This also shows up to remind you guys to be grateful and appreciative of everything that you have in your lives already. Like I said, you know, we have this Nine of Crystals here. You definitely have a lot going in your favor, and just always be sure to be thankful for that, because there are plenty of people out there who are not nearly as fortunate as you. And when you kind of go through life with this attitude of gratitude, then good things really start to pile up for you. And so, you know, just to summarize all of this information for you guys, really be willing to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to feel emotion, both your own and other people's. and always be grateful and count your blessings moving forward, because there is a lot that is on offer for you guys this month and is even going into the end of the year. So just keep those things in mind. I really do hope that these messages resonated for a lot of you guys. If they did, please go ahead and let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, ask those as well. I would really love to hear from you guys. And if you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to the channel. I do want to get this channel off the ground and churn out some more videos for you guys. I do plan on doing a mid-month update in the middle of August, so keep that in mind and check back for that then. It's going to be a much shorter reading than this one. So I will see you guys in the middle of August, and hopefully you guys have a great month. There's definitely some great energies here. So I will see you guys later, Gemini. Thank you.